Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Well, it's that time of year. Pumpkins are either growing in your garden or you're going to purchase them from a farm or a store. But there's a whole lot more to pumpkins than painting or carving a face on the front of them. There's a lot of different varieties. Many of people are maybe accustomed to only seeing pumpkins that are yellow, that are jack-o'-lantern, that are designed for the decoration aspect. And some people don't celebrate that holiday. They celebrate the fall harvest, and they use other pumpkins instead of jack-o'-lanterns in order to not only decorate, but also utilize them as a food consumption product. So we're going to go over some stats and figures and some things in which you can do with your pumpkins besides turning them into a spooky face or a happy face or whatever you typically do with a jack-o'-lantern.
Right. So, actually, I just thought of another fun fact, but I'm going to let you say the first fun fact about where pumpkins come from, because this is like, you're excited about it.
Well, this is the majority of jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Jack-o'-lanterns are specifically and have been for decades grown and bred and created strictly for a thin wall and for decoration, not for consumption, because they're very stringy and they're not good for that at all. They are edible, but they're not good edible. The top producing pumpkin states include Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and surprisingly, California. According to the Illinois Department of Agriculture, 95% of the U.S. crops are grown in Illinois.
There you go.
And there are approximately, give or take, about 45 different varieties of pumpkins. Not jack-o'-lanterns, but pumpkins. There's Jardel, there's jack-o'-lanterns, there's a whole mess of other ones in there. But about 45 different varieties. And we see a lot of them. It's not.
I'm gonna give a pumpkin fun fact.
But the stores used to be, when we were young, I don't ever remember seeing a lot of the other varieties. Now they've kind of got to the point where they include a lot of different types of pumpkins.
Yeah,
sure. Because the people want something other. They want something of consumption, more likely, I would assume.
Right, and it's like it's a squash.
Right.
Too.
Yeah.
So they use it for like squashy stuff. Okay, so jack-o'-lanterns were actually not originally pumpkins. They used to use turnips.
What was it, over in
Ireland?
Ireland, yeah.
Yep. And then in the U.S., so pumpkins originate from Central America. And
what doesn't come from Central? Tomatoes, peppers, jacans, acas. What doesn't come from South America?
I think this is Central America.
Oh, Central America.
Yeah.
Oh, these are okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, so then as, things travel around, time changes, blah, blah, blah. The jack-o'-lantern was then made from the pumpkin, probably because it's a little bit bigger than a turnip.
Well, they didn't carve the turnip. They didn't hollow it out. They just kind of jousted out the eyes and the mouth. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody must not have liked turnips very much. Let's just carve a face in these things. It'd be much more beneficial.
I think maybe there's a lot of turnips in Ireland. I don't know. But anyway, so there's a lot of things you can do with pumpkins, and I think people underestimate this
doesn't cross their mind. There's a lot of
right.
There's a lot of facts and tasks in which you can accomplish with a pumpkin, and it just and this is a great thing since we're all spending so much more time at home now with people you either like or you don't like. Make your decision on that. Kids are looking for things to do, and here are some great things in which you can do as a family. With pumpkins.
Or for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So you can make pumpkin puree. So you would basically, you make pumpkin puree, and you can use this whether it be for a recipe or, when you cook it down, you can actually use it for different beverages. You can use it.
How do you use it for a beverage?
Like you make pumpkin coffee or something. Oh. There's pumpkin cocktail recipes out there. So yeah. So you whip up some pumpkin puree, and it's pretty simple. You just bake the pumpkin down, you peel it, and then you just whip it, whether it be like in a hand mixer or a blender.
Okay. And then that's the other thing. Whenever you buy pumpkin in the can in the store for like a pumpkin pie, am I misinformed here that it's not 100% pumpkin? Isn't there some like butternut squash mixed in with that? And when you make your own pumpkin
Yeah.
pie, it's 100% pumpkin puree.
Right. There's some butternut squash mixed in. So that is correct. Yes. So it's not pure pumpkin. So I guess you could just, make your own, and that's fine.
And we have.
Yep. And if it's a pumpkin, like, a lot of people will do this with their jack-o'-lanterns, and sometimes jack-o'-lanterns are kind of watery, so you might have to cook it down once you bake it, and then you might have to puree it and cook it down a little bit. But other than that, most pie pumpkins are ideal for that. Hence the name. They have a higher sugar content, and they have a less watery content.
Right. And, like, whenever you do the pumpkin puree, here's a good, easy, simple, very beneficial tip. Only put the amount of puree per container, per Ziploc bag, or per Tupperware that equates to what you need for a pie. If you're going to do pie presentations that well.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about seeds here.
Yeah. So another thing you can do real quick is you can make a pumpkin planter. So say you find like this phenomenal deal on jack-o'-lanterns or something, you want to carve it out. And right now mums are really popular, and mums are an annual. So you can take a pumpkin, make it into a pumpkin planter, and then you have like this total fall beauty
fancy thing. You can also make soup, and if you get like a small pumpkin, you can make soup and bake it inside of the pumpkin. You carve the gook out of it and the seeds, and you did that. Yeah, we did that. Yeah. We've got a video on our website and our YouTube channel. Just search pumpkin soup. Now we have, there's Cinderella pumpkins, and our favorite, and we've grown this. We didn't grow any this year. Is the Jardel pumpkin. It's a bluish gray pumpkin that can weigh between 6 and 12 pounds. It has a bluish green skin, but a very bright yellowish orange flesh inside with a very thick wall and a small seed cavity that has lots of seeds, but it has a lot of what they call meat, and it's very, very good. We've never found a pumpkin pie that tasted as good as we have when we did the Jardel, and those are very popular whenever you're looking for some to purchase at your garden center, at the grocery store. They do have them available.
Right.
Pumpkin seeds, you can roast them. You can save them. The best way to save them is just pull them out, wash them off, clean them up, and then let them dry, label them, put them in a envelope or some type of container. That way, the jack-o'-lantern seeds are the most popular to roast. And salt, and use it that way. I've seen now in the store where you can purchase pumpkin seeds that taste like, ranch and pickles. They have that flavoring on them. So I don't, some people may like that, some people may not, but pumpkin seeds are the other thing with pumpkin seeds, keep this in mind. If you're going to save them for long term, like you want to eat them in March, April, May, be sure you've done the procedure correctly, and they're in an airtight container because they will absorb moisture and they'll get kind of icky after a while. They don't have a tremendously wonderful shelf life if you don't prepare that shelf life correctly.
Right. So yeah, pumpkin seeds. So another thing you can do is you can use it to feed the wildlife, feed your own animals. I'm not talking about your cat or your dog, but if you have goats or chickens, they will eat that pumpkin.
There are several prevalent YouTubers that live on homesteads that after the Halloween time, they have put ads out, or they will set up a place where people can physically drop off their pumpkins on their on that homesteader's property, and they will use that to feed the chickens and the goats and the pigs, and it's a lot of free food for those animals that technically would be thrown in the trash can and gone to the landfill. So that's a great way to utilize that item, and you can also throw it in your compost pile. There's nothing wrong with that, but some of these people will use it for their animals. Now, talk about the pumpkin cocktail, because I'm sure we've got some we've got some people who like to drink and like to have some very unique drinks on their, with their cocktails or at their home bars to impress friends. What are we talking about here?
This is more of like a dessert type cocktail. So what you would do is you would water down your pumpkin puree. So you just mix it with water, and then you would add some sort of liqueur that would be complementary to it, whether that be like a cinnamon or a vanilla, something like that. And then you can add a simple syrup to sweeten it, and there you have it.
And I know nothing about making cocktails, don't know a thing, but I understand, like, if you're going to experiment, little bit, see if it works. Don't go all in and go, well, that was a bad thing. Now we've wasted all of that. Both,
Maybe just drink a little bit more before you try it, and then you'll like it better.
Pumpkin hummus.
Yeah, pumpkin hummus. And actually,
well, first of all, people hear the word hummus and they think of the dip or I guess it's a dip or a spread.
Yeah.
What is hummus made from? And then how do you make pumpkin hummus?
Okay. So hummus is made from chickpeas. And so pumpkin hummus is made from chickpeas and pumpkin.
Oh, so you mix the two together.
Yeah. And you can add a little bit of sugar. You can make it like sweet with like some pumpkin pie spice, and you can make pumpkin pie hummus.
Now we're doing this with the puree, and you're mixing the puree with the chickpea hummus.
Right.
Okay.
Or you can make it savory, and just kind of leave it as is, or you could, just like a pumpkin soup, you might add some different other spices like some, I don't know, garlic or onion or something like that. But you can make pumpkin hummus.
Well, I know you make a very good pumpkin cheesecake with that. So before we run out of time, let's do the obvious one here, and we'll talk about this because we are a gardening and canning preserving program. You can can pumpkin.
Yeah, you can can pumpkin, and it's something that is smart to do, I think, because if you can find your pie pumpkins on sale or a good deal, or
even just pay full price for them because it's well worth it.
It's well worth it, yeah. Or you grow your own, or your farm stand, whatever. Basically, what you're going to do is you want to make sure you peel the pumpkin before you can it. That's important. And then you can it in chunks, about 1 inch size chunks. And yeah, you have to pressure can it. And
it will keep for a number of years. And you put it in a typical quart canned is the right amount for a pie.
Right, for one pie.
One pie, yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a safety. You got to do it the right way, but it really is a very fun and rewarding procedure whenever you've bought it or you've grown your own and go, we had 7 pies this year, and everything that we ate, we grew on our property.
Right,
so that works very well. So there's just some of the information there about pumpkins that you may have not known. And real quick, used the guts to make vegetable stock, Holly.
Oh yeah, so you can make pumpkin stock or vegetable stock. So say you are carving your pumpkins, and you got those guts.
The slimy gunk.
Yeah, and if you take the seeds out for that, and then you have the guts, and you can make vegetable stock. You can just cook it with the pumpkin and some water, or you can add other random vegetables you have, and you cook it down. What you do is you take that, put in a huge stock pot, add the water, let it cook for a few hours on low, bring it to a boil first and reduce it to low, stir it, and then you have pumpkin stock or vegetable stock. And I can't prove this, but I have heard that back many years ago, the Native Americans would take the skin of the pumpkin, weave it together, and make mats for in front of their teepees. And that would make sense. It's very thick and durable. And then you can also take that, the slimy gook inside of it, and add some sugar. There's some recipes online, and turn it into a candy. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.